Alright guys, who still remembers the good old days back then when nothing was added into the base game yet? I think back then it was only the, was it Proto Bahamut or Bahamut Versa, the one on the ship, the only two most meta build were Jump, Shotgun, Wreckham, and of course a Grenade Throw EUGEN. And we are bringing it back again with this master trait. When I first saw this, I was just kind of remembering like how funny it would be you just punching grenades. So there are a few little key points in this. To explode grenade, there are mainly three ways. One is to going into a melee range for EUGEN, which is actually kind of special. He doesn't shoot guns all the time. Once you go into a certain range, he actually punches instead, and that's one way of exploding grenades. And second is using your interception, and that is your dodge shot, and that explode grenade. And the third one is armor piercing ammo, and those are the three ways. But the thing is that the most damaging one is actually directly go in and punching the grenades. The thing about that is that it's not very reliable, especially you might thinking that, oh, it might be good against larger enemies. Actually, it's quite the opposite, because larger enemies, the hitbox for the melee trigger, like the register for melee range, is kind of weird. I tried this on dragons. Sometimes the tail doesn't count, and sometimes I think the frontal leg doesn't count. You have to go a little bit closer to the body or the back leg, where you actually trigger the melee animation instead. So you might think that, okay, so smaller enemies, you might be having a hard time to attach grenades, but actually I didn't find that quite difficult. After testing, especially on the world and on Beelzebub, I didn't dare to try to do it for Lucidus because that fight is bullshit. Okay, I tried to do it, but it seems to be okay. Of course, if you couldn't get in range for punching, of course you want to explode in some other ways, but the most important one is to explode it with a punch. And of course, the most damaging grenade is your grenade thrown when you're holding your special grenade button. To charge it up, there's a grenade plus, and or in your sniper version, you're also throwing a grenade punch, grenade plus, and you wanted to throw grenade plus, because the difference between normal grenade and grenade plus is about 4 times, at least in the training dummy, it's about 4 times the damage. So you wanted to throw a grenade plus, and the fastest way to throw grenade plus is actually in your sniper vision. So you do want to stay in your sniper vision as much as possible when throwing, because the charging throw is quite long, and you can't really, and the dodge cancel doesn't feel as smooth. So in the end, the best way to do it is go into sniper vision, toss your grenade plus, rolls in, punch it, and roll back out, and keep tossing, rinse and repeat. And also, the one key point is, the maximum grenade damage that you can do on a single target is attaching 3 grenades. What I mean is that the damage difference between attaching 3 grenades and explode and between 4, 5, 6 grenade and explode, it's the same thing. So the max damage you can get is 3 grenades. Because at first I thought that, okay, what if I just throw in 10 grenades on the target and explode it? It doesn't matter. At least that's what happens on the training dummy, and that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm just gonna go throw 3 grenades and then punch. And that's basically the key game loop of a grenade punch EUGEN. And in terms of gear, it's very simple. Of course, I'm using Ascension. You want to push this damage even further. Of course, you can try using Terminus, but there is one key that is, for me, I feel like it is a really good quality of life change, and that is improved dodge and also untouchable. Untouchable is probably something that a lot of people doesn't use or never even used before. But the distance on the roll is actually quite important. At least it seems like from what I'm at least from the distance that I've been trying to get, either in the dummy and training grounds, it's about maybe 25% increase. But the actual defense actually helps a lot. It helps you get in range of punch really well. It's actually extremely well. So these two are quite the important ones. Other than that, everything else is just a little bit of an extra. So you want to go with, of course, Celestial Lumen, just get that damage cap, or you can go with some other ones, for example, Celestial, I believe it's the Aqua, or Celestial Terra, or Celestial, whatever you want to do. All these are interchangeable, but you wanted to increase your damage cap as much as possible. You got your supplemental damage, Berserker Echo, Spartan Echo, Fate Breakers, Water Elementals, and this from the weapons. And then regen, because I'm going for a little bit tankier, because a lot of time you're spending is in sniper vision, so you are quite stationary. You might thinking that you are pretty mobile, but you're actually quite stationary. So you got regen, a little bit of uplift from the weapon. Mostly I want the weapon just for the ages, so I have a little more HP. But you can do something a lot better. Of course, greater ages, garrison, a stronghold. You might want to change the stronghold because I don't know, and sometimes I don't really feel much of a difference, but it's okay. And you got Steel Nerve, of course, these two most important, and some Potion Hoarder. I believe that there is, okay, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I think every single character have their own innate defense value. Some characters are lower, some characters are higher. I think Oiden's on the lower end, so that's why maybe I'm still taking a lot of damage, even though I have like a lot of defensive sigils. So Potion Hoarder actually does help with some recovery, and even though a lot of time you probably don't need it if you're good with dodging, and especially with improved dodge. And Stealth Heart is also, I think, it's pretty important. I think that having uninterrupted grenade throw and then going in for the punch, like just make the whole game loop a lot more fluid. You can see that there's no Awaken specific sigils, the Awakenings, including the Awakenings and Warpath, because none of them really increase damage cap and doesn't really help with gameplay all that much, unless you're going for maybe a sniper heavier build. But I know that Veteran's Insight says that damage plus 100%, but I tried it. It didn't really work, so that's the damage increase that doesn't go through damage cap compared to some of the other sigils. So for skills, you wanted to use armor piercing, round, and interception. I'm not sure if I said the skill name correctly before, but these two are the other alternative to exploding damage. Interception is probably your other go-to because it does put a burn debuff on the enemy if you explode it this way. Sometimes the armor piercing rounds, it's like you don't, because it shoots randomly, not really randomly, but sometimes when you throw a grenade while armor piercing rounds is going off, you might not get the 3 grenade chain damage on it. So you might be like you throw 3 grenades that pop this, pop the 3, and then you toss in maybe 2 and explode instantly. So you just overall it could be like a little bit less damage. And some venom grenade just for the defense down, but you don't really use it that much. Healing grenade is actually for the shield because you do get a few points in here for just a little bit more survivability. But the most important one probably these two. Too bad. This thing is that too bad. Logan doesn't really have any buffs for himself, which is unfortunate. And for my summons, I have just normal attack damage cap, just as much as I can. This one, I wish I have a Spartan Echo that with a normal attack damage cap. I've seen some of my teammates has got the luck of getting 100% normal attack damage cap, which is absolutely insanity. If you can get that, that would be absolutely amazing. Of course, you can get Stealth Heart on the summons. That is even better. Then you can actually have a sigil, maybe for something else. For example, maybe add like a supplementary damage, a secondary, maybe like a supplementary damage. That'd be pretty good. And I think I will go for that. I will go for double supplementary, which I do have. But too bad, I don't have a Stealth Heart yet. In terms of master traits, very simple. You want to go for Grenade Punch. Go for Grenade Attack. This one, kind of iffy, but there is maybe... Okay, actually, maybe you might be able to take this one off and put it over here just for the extra defense reduction, which is also pretty good. But most importantly, it's like you got your stun power, you got these ones. That's your style rank 1s, and you wanted to put all of these. And for style rank 2, you want to lower the cooldowns and all these damage cap and some HPs as much as possible, and of course the grenade damage cap. This one I tried it. The additional attack plus doesn't do anything, so we're gonna forget about that one. And that's where the healing will come in handy. You get a little bit of shield, and of course damage cap and over here. And for your rank 3s right here, of course more damage caps. And this is where you have armor piercing round that's able to detonate grenade. And just mostly just damage caps. And thirdly, you have this. And that's about it. And I believe as for I've always didn't have a good chance of rolling for this, but for over mastery, of course, you just want normal attack damage cap up for 20% and stun power up, and if you can, probably can get skill damage cap up because you can probably interchange it for another build. That would be better because for this one you don't really do a lot of skill damage caps. So, but if you are using another build for EUGEN, you might want to roll that as well. And that is about it. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. It's you're definitely not going to beat a Fediel, okay? And we all know that recently the Granblue Fantasy Relink log is back. Someone did a fork update on it, so you are able to check your DPS once again. You can see that I am not completely capped yet. I am only reaching level 50. I didn't go any breaks, so I didn't do any further breakthroughs, for example, the 5-star breakthroughs. So you can probably push this a little bit further. Right now, I am sitting at around close to like a 4 mil DPS, and the Fediel is probably somewhere around 5 or 6. A completely geared out Fediel probably reaching 6 or maybe 6 or 7, and if they are playing flawlessly. But if you're just playing normally, you can pretty much expecting Fediel to reach 5 or 6. But for us, we are currently at around 3, closer to 4. So that would be the difference. But once you unlock everything, you should be able to reach a 4 mil DPS. But you have to play pretty well. You have to consistently tossing 3 grenades and punching it. And yeah, that's it. That's it. I think it's pretty fun. It's definitely a very unique gameplay. I really like a master trace where it changes the core gameplay of a character. So that's why I like using this one. I like using coffin makers. So yeah, it's pretty fun. Give it a try. You know, let me know how you feel. If I made any mistake, please let me know in the comment section below.